This is the Get More podcast with Chris Hill and
Kelsey Jones.
And we have a visitor with us today.
Rachel
Ferrell.
Rachel Ferrell.
Welcome to the Get More podcast,
Thanks.
Rachel.
I'm excited
How
to
are
be
you
here.
doing today?
Doing great.
Good.
Energized. Ready
I
to
love
talk.
it. I love it.
You
I
really
love
are
it.
great.
I am.
I mean, you just got off the stage, so you should be feeling great. You're still
yeah.
pumped.
I did get off the stage. I'm ready to say more things.
Yeah.
No, what we're talking about, well, the stage that she was speaking.
Yes.
You're not a singer, not an entertainer like that.
No, but
Unless
I
you are.
Are you?
Well, I mean, I don't know. What do you want me to be?
I mean, it's just that easy.
I'm a chameleon.
Oh, no.
We have a people pleaser in our
That's
midst.
exactly what it is. Enneagram 3 over here.
Amazing. All right. Well, today we want to really dive into you are a marketing guru and a realtor and a powerhouse mother, right? So we want to hear all sides of how all this blends together, and we want to get some great takeaways today. So I kind of already gave you a little bio just now, but tell us from your words a little bit about you, where you're coming from, how you got here, and how you help people.
Traffic.
Absolutely. So Chris told me I have 4 hours. We're going to start with
No,
a
ma'am.
cold
No, ma'am.
morning,
You have
February
you have
1st,
a nice 20th.
1991.
What?
Just kidding.
I was born in 91 too.
What?
Yeah.
Look at us.
Oh my God, I wasn't.
Twinsies,
Shut up.
except you. Okay, so I'm born and raised in Middle Tennessee, moved to Tullahoma 7 years ago, which was great. We moved for affordability, which was a huge thing in our world. We had this ugly little Ford Taurus junky car, and we moved to Tullahoma, and I just told myself, I'm going to get my husband a truck. Like, the man deserved a truck. His broke down. We ended up with the Taurus. What's funny is that we actually bought the Taurus from Tullahoma, but we didn't, nothing connected at the time. So we were dead broke. We had $2,000 left on a HELOC. That was the max we could spend on a car. And we found this single owner Ford Taurus in Tullahoma, Tennessee. So we went and we got it. And there's a picture of us at a gas station we frequent now where I'm like super pregnant with my youngest son. And we're smiling, but we're like not
You bought the
super
whole
happy.
car for $2,000?
Whole car for $2,000.
Wow.
I know. Sweetest, oldest couple, Hillcrest Drive. And then several years later, when we realized, we can't keep living in Rutherford County, we have to move somewhere else. Nick threw a dart at the board, and we ended up in Tullahoma. After we moved there, I kept thinking, like, this looks familiar. What is this? And it popped up on my iPhone on this day, sitting in the Taurus in the gas station, and I was like, the Taurus brought us home.
Oh my gosh, that gives me chills.
It was
seriously
so cool. I mean, seriously, everything about our move was such a God thing, but the Taurus was gone once I got into real estate. Once we moved to Tullahoma and everything was good and I had some free time to, have a job, I decided
Just threw the little Taurus away. It's what
Free time
got
to
you
work.
here.
gone,
And now you had to get rid
$500
of
trade
it.
in. And honestly, it wasn't even worth that. So the first year in real estate was mostly just to get us ahead,
Yeah, sure.
I got into real estate because I wanted to help people live outside of their mortgage by buying homes they could afford and using the rest of their resources to live the life of their dreams. It was not necessarily for us to make boatloads of money. It was to help show people that you don't have to be strapped down to your house. Like, you can be happy, with some compromises and live the life of your dreams. So fast forward, I feel like I did really well in real estate. I met my goals, and that was all that I really care about. I don't have to be a top producer.
Well, you just said boatloads of cash. So
I did say
obviously
boatloads
you're
of
rich.
cash. That's exactly what it is in Coffee County with a $250,000 average price point. So the getting into real estate was great. After a couple of years, I realized that I could lean into teaching and training. That's what my degree is in, is organizational communication with an emphasis in teaching and training. And I did not think that that was a passion that was ever going to be able to come back.
Yeah.
And once I joined KW, my friend Cherie sat me down and she was like, hey, you should look at the opportunities they have for this. So it was really easy to jump into,
Shout out to Cherie.
I was about to say that.
I didn't even know that
Honestly,
was
Cherie, you
Cherie.
could shout out to Cherie for
Yeah.
99% of what I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's not for you. So
No. She
It's not for
she
Cherie.
got the phone call last night, and I was like, walk through this with me. So everything I did today, Cherie already knows.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I
she's
love that.
good.
I didn't know you guys were so close.
I love her. Yes,
That's
she is
amazing.
Cherie's cool people.
One of
She's
my best.
awesome.
Shout out to Cherie.
Yeah.
We love
And
you.
she's in our Franklin office. So,
Yes.
Yeah, she was in the Murfreesboro office, which I imagine that's how you guys met.
Yes,
right?
that's exactly
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
And then when we just became really close in the Murfreesboro office. And then, and we went through the whole process of the KWU approved trainer too. She's got a few more things.
I didn't finish
She's
it.
close. She could do it if she got approved. She just has to finish some of the other things. But the KW had just, opened my eyes to all the opportunities for teaching and training. And everything I taught and trained on was social media marketing.
Yeah.
When I first got into the industry, I didn't know anybody. I was in Tullahoma and I needed to meet people. It was the pandemic, so you couldn't meet people. So I had to figure out how to talk online. And then in college, I was an intern, and we did, I make the joke that we did TikToks before TikTok was a thing. Like we had camcorders and editing on computers, and that was how we put together our.
We might need to move
funny,
on to the next area because you're sounding a lot
showing
older.
My age. That was how I got comfortable on camera, though. I think a lot of people will ask the question like, "How are you so comfortable doing what you did?" And it's just because I have no shame. Anyway, the first year in real estate, social media was the thing. Anytime I get asked to teach and train, it's usually on some sort of social media topic. So then that evolved into Happy Go Social. My friend owned a company, Happy Go Social. She and I partnered together, and then I bought her out. So now Joyful Marketing is my
It's the boatload of cash.
thing, that boatload of cash.
Would you say that with social media expertise, was that like, you learned that as you went, or did you have any sort of background in it? Genuinely asking, because I don't know.
I think so. My degree is a business degree without the finance, basically.
Yeah.
And back in 2009, again, showing my age, blogging was the big deal. So I had blogging classes that I would go to, and they would teach you about SEO. Any marketing degree, in my opinion, is almost completely irrelevant a year later,
Right.
You have to be continuing education with that. I think the marketing part for me comes from a love for communication, just interpersonal communication, networking, negotiating, like building relationships. Because everything that we do as a business online is to build relationships so that we can bring them offline.
Right.
And I think it's just the natural next step is, all I have to do is learn a platform so that I can say what I was already planning on saying anyway.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
You get the agents all day asking you questions. So what are you seeing in agents currently right now that, hey, this is something that I know that we're missing?
That's a great question.
Or maybe what's the thing that you see that gets on your nerves the most?
Yeah, I want to hear about that because I know we're talking to agents all day, every day. And a lot of what we see is just that it seems so intimidating getting out there, trying a new lane, right? Or they're just not comfortable being on camera. You're talking about you've been on camera for so long and it's just kind of like second nature to you.
Yes.
So is that kind of similar to what you're seeing too? Or are there tips, tricks, tools?
Because we need him. I had an agent that I was talking to. Me and him are having a great conversation, going really well. And the agent, I love to talk. But then all of a sudden, I said, okay, I'll put this camera up. And then we're going to talk.
Yeah.
And everything became staccato. I was like, what are you doing here? Why are you breaking your words like
We're
this?
We're role-playing being a realtor.
Right. I think that I was like, whoa, this isn't the guy I know. So how do you help them with that?
I think that like the most role-playing a realtor, I think is a big issue where people will get on camera and they feel like they have to be something that they're not instead of just pretending like they're talking to a client. Right. And my favorite review that I've ever gotten was when you work with Rachel, you're working with your best friend. And it, I think, opened my eyes to that online persona as well. Do I want to have overly polished, professional everything online as if I'm some sort of like big corporation? Or do I want you to feel like we're best friends before we meet each other? And the answer is number 2. That's what I want. If Taco Bell and Target and all of these large companies are posting user-generated content inside of their space, like this is just a mom shopping on a Tuesday in Target, why do I have to pay tens of millions of dollars or, not that much money on some sort of marketing campaign? They're actually going to be working directly with me, not even Target corporate. So for agents right now, I think, yes, there is an intimidation on getting on camera. And I think the advice of, just open the camera and press record, I would argue that it's a little outdated because,
What's outdated?
The advice of just open the camera and record.
Oh, yeah.
Just do it. Just do the thing. Okay, well, what am I supposed to do? Fine, I'll turn it on, but I'm going to stare at the camera for however long with no words inside of my head.
There are some people I wish they didn't.
Like, if you could just turn the camera
Please
off
turn
for
it
a
off.
second.
I don't want to see this.
But I think that is the hardest part isn't turning the camera on. It's knowing what you're going to say whenever the camera does go on. And I think there's a lack of preparation for what they're going to say on screen. But if they would stop trying to prepare for what they're saying on screen and just continue to prepare for what they're saying with their clients, then you just say the same thing.
That's so good.
It doesn't require anything extra. So
yeah,
I think there is a degree of overthinking, but I think when you look online for internet advice or for, marketing advice for a real estate agent, a lot of the advice from people who are advising influencers. How to grow your Instagram, how to grow your TikTok account. But for a real estate agent, the goal isn't growth of your followers. It's, growth in the number of families that you're serving. So you kind of have to look at it a little bit different.
So what are you researching the most right now?
What am I researching the most right now? What's my biggest pet peeve? I know you're asking me that because it's clicked in my head. Listing strategy drives me crazy. When I see people online and they have this really pretty slide deck that says, I have the best marketing strategy. I remember thinking this when I first got in the industry too, before social media became such a huge, big thing, where it was like, we can give your listing the most exposure.
Yeah.
And then you ask the question, how?
Yeah.
And it's like,
just like
nothing, no response.
Spinning wheel of death.
Correct. Yes. Or it's some sort of a generic answer. Like, we have professional listing photos. I'm like, fantastic. That's great news. That's bare minimum now.
Right.
So, professional listing photos is, again, it's bare minimum.
Right.
So I think whenever you're talking to a client, when I talk to sellers online, I'm giving them a list of things they need to be asking their listing agent. If they're telling you that they have a marketing strategy, then you need to be digging into it. You need to understand that, your list price is part of the marketing strategy.
Right.
That the MLS is the literal most important tool that you have
right
for listing a house. Like getting it on Zillow, getting it on realtor.com, going through your MLS system. If that MLS listing is lacking, nobody's going to walk through your front door. I can post it on Instagram and get 100,000 views and sell the house maybe from it. The most exposure that the listing is ever going to get is through the MLS. A lot of times whenever you post a listing video, it is to promote yourself. This is me. This is me showing a house. This is what it looks like working with me. It's part of my personality. It's not necessarily.
And also, we can really see your personality on social media.
Oh, can you?
Yes, I can see your personality.
Your personality is showing.
Oh yeah, it really is. When I look at them, one thing I can appreciate about you is that when I look on your socials, I know that's really you. It's come from how me and you talk, and then I go on social media. I'm like, yep, that's still her. That's the real Rachel, y'all.
I love that. You should have been there.
Authenticity. What were you saying?
I had 6 different colors of hair. I kept having to update everything because I kept changing my hair color. I was like, nobody's going to recognize me.
Oh, okay.
What hair colors were you doing?
Oh, I was a brunette and a redhead and a blonde, and it was all kinds of things.
What's happening in your life around that time?
Yeah, I know. Good stuff. Listen, let me tell you, I was having a rough time. Postpartum was a rough go.
I get it. Honestly, it's impressive that the hair color of on this head has stayed, somewhat normal.
Now we tap into the mom's combo. Let me step back.
I know, right?
Well, so the listing strategy is the biggest thing that I see is that there isn't one. And besides the MLS, I think the biggest untapped marketing tool for real estate agents and listing strategies is a individual page, like a web page for the listing. Because the IDX search feeds, I feel like I can use the jargon on a real estate podcast. The IDX search feeds are searchable for AEO and SEO. Once it's sold, it's gone, I think that it's the ranking for it is less than for the other pages. So
there are some photographers that actually provide that.
Yes, but we don't want theirs.
Okay. Is that not the right one?
No, I don't want theirs because that promotes their page.
Okay.
So if somebody's looking for a house in Smyrna and you're using and sharing this photographer's page that they gave you with, photography name /123 Banana Street, Smyrna, then when that shows up in the AEO search, then it's showing the photographer. It's not showing you.
Right.
It might have your name on it because they've branded it to you.
Yeah.
But is it really beneficial or is it just the easy button?
Right.
And I don't think it's beneficial. It is absolutely the easy button. You need to have it on your website.
Okay. I love that. I love that. Okay. Going to kind of shift gears a little bit.
Totally.
So we know that you are a StoryBrand guide.
Yes.
I don't know if our listeners know that. So tell us what that means. And
she's really important.
very important.
That's exactly it. I pay an amount of money every month so that I can be really
we went
important.
to go see you on a stage in Atlanta, and you were a StoryBrand guy. Yeah.
You're sweet.
Big deal.
Tell us about that.
You got shouted out and everything.
Okay. I did. It was fun. So StoryBrand is how I shaped my social media marketing at the very beginning.
Okay.
When you get on social media as a real estate agent, the natural thought is just listed, just sold. Here's what's available. Look at this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And like whenever I really dig into the psyche of a buyer, when I think about how I felt when I moved from Murfreesboro to Tullahoma, I wasn't looking at 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom houses. I wasn't looking for like the perfect bonus room setup. I was looking for Starbucks. Like I know that there are lots of little fun places that you can go in town that are fun and unique, but like I have to be bought into the community first before I want to go to the little bitty places.
And tell us why you were looking for the Starbucks though.
Why was I looking for Starbucks? Because I was a stay-at-home mom.
She's like, I just need my iced coffee.
Needed the coffee. Like I needed a double chocolate chip frappuccino with 2 shots of espresso.
Oh my gosh!
And like that was it though. Like I was nervous. I was scared. I didn't want to move. I was crying. Nick was like just trying to get me in the car just to like show me the places that we could live. And when I saw Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, and Joann's, I thought this could be where I want to go. So whenever I think about what content needs to look like, that's the lens that I look at it through. What was the question? StoryBrand. So StoryBrand was how I developed that concept. I am not the hero of the story. Just listed positions me as the hero of the story. Just sold with a picture of the front of the house and me on it positions me as the hero of the story. That just purchased, that just sold. For instance, I'm going to give you an example. So last week I had 2 buyers actually close, and they both got $20,000 home grants through the Welcome Home Grant in Tennessee. Both of them got $10,000 in closing costs. Both of them used an FHA loan, so they were able to use the benefits.
Next door neighbors?
They are not next door neighbors. They should be. They're both teachers. They're both single women. Like it really was an incredible week last week. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not the teacher. I didn't have the salary that I had to figure out how to buy a home with. I wasn't the one who said, you know what, I'm not going to cry about how much all teachers are underpaid. Instead of saying I'm underpaid, I'm just going to rent for the rest of my life. She said, there's a grant out right now. Let's see if we can find a house.
Right.
She said, that house is listed at this price. What do you think I can get it at? And I said, I think you can get it at this price. And she said, great, let's negotiate this. I didn't make the decision for her to negotiate. She made the decision to negotiate. At the end of the day, it's my job to put on that piece of paper what she says. So I can say I'm an expert negotiator, but really what I am is an expert guide in negotiation.
Love that.
My clients are the ones who are ultimately making the decision on how they negotiate. So whenever I share that online, the goal wouldn't be, guess how much money I negotiated off for my client.
Right.
It's, guess what? She did an incredible job. Check out this hero. I helped her. Heather, the lender, helped her. However, she's the one that did this, and now she's a homeowner and is building wealth for her future.
Realtors, take off your capes. We're not superheroes.
Oh, and we love
we are superheroes, but we don't have to show it that way because it does get a little overwhelming.
You can be the hero of your own story.
Yeah.
But when you're marketing for other people to try and use you, if you come across as an arrogant hero, then they're not going to want to use you.
Every house has a story, and
house.
you can use that in any transaction because it's really telling the story. If you're trying to get people excited about this particular property, they need to know who are we looking at? Who are the people that what are the things that people enjoyed while they were in this property?
Yes. That goes back to the listing description. Your MLS is your number one marketing tool.
Not the listing description,
The listing descriptions are terrible these days.
It's
this
like
house
750
is the
words of
combination of comfort
cozy
and thoughtful design.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. I'm
waterfront views.
Meticulously maintained.
Yes, absolutely. All of them are the same over and over again. So how do you fix that? You tell the story of the house. You talk to whatever for 20 minutes. And then whenever you have it, pull it out. Just say, I want a factual MLS description that does not have comparative language.
That really is how it feels.
You're not really going that deep at all. You're like, it's
No.
so many words, but I really didn't get anything from this.
I just read 2,000 characters of nothing.
Right.
Yeah. No buyer wants that.
I love it. I love it.
I want you to use the analogy about your son walking in the room and getting his attention.
Oh my gosh. I love that you loved that because I made that up on the way here today.
It was really good. It made sense.
Glad. I was trying to think about how to describe that. Okay, so
that was so clear.
It really was
great.
I'm glad that it was clear. So I at night, whenever I'm trying to like start bedtime routine, I have one of two choices. I can either stand from my kitchen and yell into the playroom and say, "Hey boys, it's time to go to bed. Start your bedtime routine." And then the response would be, the joy of childhood, right? Like if they even say anything.
Right, if they even respond.
These days.
I'm just going to keep playing. Like it's either Diddy Kong or something. We have the N64, so they'll like sit and play it. Or they'll like keep doing the Legos, or Hot Wheels will just continue flying. And nobody's doing what I asked them to do. They just continue to ignore me and do the bedtime routine. No bedtime routine. Or I could literally take 5 extra steps, walk into the playroom and bend down and look at my 7-year-old and say, "Logan, buddy, you smell really bad. Like it's time for you to take a shower. I'm going to go and turn on the hot water. I need you to go and start getting ready. I'll see you there in 5. And the difference is I'm shouting out into the void and, who knows who I'm talking to. The cat's probably listening to me, but that's it.
Oh, you have a cat.
I do. Yes. She's adorable. She does listen to me all the time. Or I can figure out the one specific person that I need to talk to with their one specific problem. I have a role in it and I'm telling them exactly what that role is. I'm going to go turn the hot water on. Your next step is to do this. And then the result is the freshest, cleanest smelling 7-year-old. Like it's just a good,
so cuddly and sweet
thing. He is.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But that's just the difference online as well. You can either shout into the void and say, "Hey buyers, guess what? Interest rates are 6%.
Cool. What does that mean for me?
Why do they care?
I don't care.
I don't know. What does that do? How do I combat that? Is that good or is that bad? What do I?
They have no idea. So how do you get down so minute? And you don't have to talk to them like they're 7, but how can you be so specific?
I was about to say.
Sometimes you gotta talk to me like I'm 7 and I'm still like,
I know. I'm like, please, like,
what
talk to me.
shampoo should I use?
Yeah. Talk to me like I'm a kindergartner.
That I needed to do that. You sent an email and somebody was like, "Hey, you know what? The email that you and Rachel sent, they were so long. If you can send it and make it this,
Listen,
and this."
Cookies on the bottom shelf. Have you guys heard that phrase before?
What?
No.
Cookies on the bottom shelf. Easy to reach. Easy to
You've
get
said
to the
that
goodies.
before.
Yeah. I love that because it just captures that.
When you say
entire
cookies
meeting.
on the bottom shelf, I'm thinking like that type of
How
stuff.
are
Like
you
they're really
supposed?
that close
The
to the floor.
information that was being shared there was so long. Like it was a lot of information that needed to be shared. People are they have the attention spans of a goldfish.
It's me.
They want everything, but they want nothing.
Well, see, the funny thing is I read that entire email from you and I thought
you
it was
like
great.
it?
Yeah.
I'm so glad you did.
I had to read it because you had sent it to
I guess
me
I'm
earlier.
smarter than a
I sent it to
fifth
it
grader.
first. I sent it to Cherie first, and I was like, "Can you read this and tell me what you think?"
Oh, so you sent it to me first.
No, I sent it to you too.
I thought I was first.
I sent it to you to make sure that you thought that it was a good response,
yeah,
and then I sent it to Cherie to
She
make sure
sent
that
it
it was
to you
concise.
and then now you're saying it was too long?
No. Somebody told him it was too long. I can take a couple of guesses.
Oh, well, no, I love this. And I think that story was a great tie to just like you being a mom and that blend, right? So tell us, how do you do it all?
How do I do it all? I don't. I mean, transparently, I don't. If I didn't have ChatGPT, the joke I didn't say earlier, which y'all might appreciate here, was that I have a love-hate relationship with AI. I don't love it for a lot of reasons because I think that it cheapens people's messaging. However, if you were to ask my AI how often I use it, she would probably say, "Could you please leave me alone? I'm on my lunch break."
You wearing that girl out.
Wasn't that funny? I thought it was a funny joke. I prepped that one too. I'm so sad I missed it.
No, it's okay. You could keep that. You could keep it out.
What is balance? I guess just to reframe the question, like how do you balance all the things?
Like
Like
she doesn't. I couldn't
said
do
land the
it
plane.
without my husband.
Cookies on the
Or
bottom
listen
shelf.
to the-
it's on the bottom shelf,
The
Rachel.
plane doesn't have any wings, baby. Like we're coasting.
Oh God.
My husband's work schedule is a super helpful thing. He only works 3 days a week. My dad just retired, so that's super helpful. Honestly, I'm just going to tell you, like completely transparently, getting on ADHD medications was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. I think that we've always known that I've had ADHD. Real estate is just sort of like a magnet for ADHD people because we want to be told what to do, but we don't want to be told what to do. I want to do the same thing over and over again, but I want it to be different every time. And real estate does that.
It'll pop out and you'll be like, "Oh, look at that." There it is. Okay, yeah.
Yep, that's
what that
exactly
is.
it.
Uh-huh.
So after I had the boys and everything, I'm like, I don't brush my teeth the same way twice. And when I finally made the joke to one of my nurse practitioner friends, like, I think I have ADHD, ha ha ha, she was like, no, you totally have ADHD.
They're like,
She
wait.
said, have you
Like,
talked to
why are
yourself for a
you
while?
not? I tried it, and the first day I was on Adderall, I mean, it was like my eyes were opened. It was like
Wow.
I had put glasses on and
Wow.
could finally see again. Now, the issue I have now, 3 years later, is that I will still say yes to things that I should say no to. However, I can organize it better and I'm less anxious. ADHD meds did what anxiety meds wished that they could do. I was off anxiety meds so fast because I finally was able to think clearly.
Yeah.
So whenever I get into that mindset, I'm good. I think that I do still say yes to too many things. And I have a hard time cutting it off and just being with my family.
I also just have to say this really fast. Like, I love everything that you're saying. And I know we've been joking, like, we have so much in common, but like literally everything you're saying, like just feeling so clouded. And like, sometimes you just have to tune in and like listen to yourself. Right. And this is the Get More podcast. It doesn't have to necessarily pertain to business. It does pertain to real life too. Like business, life, people love to say, separation and, work-life balance, but like it's all cohesive. It all affects the other.
It does.
And you have to be in tune with what's going on. And so like, I just applaud you for like taking that moment and being like, wait, I'm going to actually listen to this person that's like highlighting this for me right now. And like, look at you now, right? Like,
if you would have seen the hot mess that was 3 years ago, you can ask my coach. 3 years ago, I sat down on a coaching call and I looked, I can see myself in the Zoom call, a hot mess. And I was like, I can't do coaching right now. I don't even know what I'm doing.
You were doing so many different
Right
things.
now.
You starting, you were heavy
started
on the ideas
everything.
and execution.
And it was so hard. I couldn't get to the finish line and I was exhausted. And then finally I said no to everything. I quit Rotary. I stopped going to the Chamber of Commerce. Like I went home.
yeah.
And that was it. I went home and it was my worst year in real estate, but it was my best year of self-discovery. And now as I'm adding things back in, it's just like I have to keep reminding myself why I do what I do because I love doing stuff. I love the real estate. I love the marketing. I love all it, but sometimes the dopamine hit and the adrenaline from doing the things will take me away from having to do something boring like playing Hot Wheels. I don't like playing Hot Wheels. But I love my boys.
Yeah.
So I have to stop doing something that I very easily want to do for something that I don't want to do.
Those no's are helping you out.
Yeah, those ones are helping me
you
out.
couldn't get low on the yeses. We like it. It's good.
Good.
Because you
I
say
love
yes
it.
to the right things.
Yes. Sorry.
I love it. No,
I cut him
I'm just resonating so much with this. And so I know that the listeners will too. So I think that's really,
She's
really
going to
cool.
tell me no about something later on.
Yeah, she is.
I'm like, Kelsey, can you pass me the pen? No. Boundary
No,
set.
I cannot. Okay, rapid fire.
Yes.
Best free marketing tool for agents right now.
YouTube, 1000% YouTube.
I knew she was
Okay.
going to say
Yeah,
that.
you knew I was going to say it. It's
Do we
YouTube.
have like a quick why?
You got to
behind
do
that?
it.
You
You
heard she
have to
said
do
quick.
YouTube. It is SEO, AEO, searchable. It is an 8-minute spiel that you can give that you can pull the transcript out of. And then, I mean, it is just the most versatile space. In real estate, nobody is scrolling through like, oh, I would love to follow a real estate influencer today. They are actively searching for, I'm a homeschool mom, moving to Southern Middle Tennessee. What does my life look like? And YouTube is the place to go for that.
I love it. And it can feed all the other channels too.
Yes.
Love it. Okay. Biggest social media myth you want to kill.
Open your camera and do it. I don't want to be like the fringe hot take girl because I do think there are people who do need to open their camera and do it. But I think it's generic. I think it's blanket advice.
Yeah.
And there are some people who don't need to open their camera and do it. And it's not because they're not capable of doing it. It's because they don't know who they're
If you
talking to.
open your
or what
camera
they're
and do
talking
it,
about.
and people tell you it's trash, go
Go
seek
back to the
help.
drawing board.
Listen to
Yes.
them.
All right, next is one piece of content every agent should already be making, but isn't.
You know, you have your personal page, you have your business page. Facebook is a personal page. You know, post everything on Facebook that way. People are going to resonate with you there. I have a business page on Instagram, and it's basically morphed into my personal page, I guess, because, 80% personal, 20% business. But then whenever I started leaning into the teaching and training world, people stopped recognizing me as a real estate agent, and they started recognizing me as a trainer to real estate
Are you
agents.
still in real estate?
That was exactly it. I kept getting that question, and I was like, yes, I am. Please use
like,
me
give me
in
your
real
business.
estate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So once I acquired Happy Go Social and I had this separate page for, this second business is Happy. It's a part of the Rachel Ferrell LLC. It's not even a thing.
Oh,
it's part of
Rachel
my
LLC, okay.
umbrella organization. It's a part of what I do, but it has its own specific purpose and it's attracting a very specific group of people. So when I was posting about marketing things on my real estate page, I was losing traction because the people that I had following me at that point were buyers and sellers. They wanted more about real estate. They didn't care about social media marketing. As a real estate agent, it's easy to see lots and lots of real estate related content in your feed. And you think, oh, I just look like everybody else. I sound like everybody else. But it's the only thing that you're seeing. It's not what other people are seeing in their feeds.
Exactly.
But whenever I started leaning into what I was seeing in my feed was when I started losing the audience that I really wanted.
This is the
I
Get More
already know the
podcast.
answer.
So
Okay,
what
go
are
ahead.
you looking to get more of this year?
YouTube.
YouTube. Okay, that was 2.
I thought you were gonna say
2 for
sleep.
YouTube.
2 for YouTube.
I thought you were going to say sleep.
Oh, maybe that too. So, okay, I know we're like at the end of our time, but I'm just going to tell you because it's just my new favorite thing. I started my YouTube channel like 5 weeks ago, brand new. I've had a YouTube channel. I have like 400 subscribers on my other YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But it's because of one single YouTube short that went viral. The people who are following me don't follow me because of what I'm saying. They follow me because I made a funny reel about a tornado.
Oh.
Unrelated.
I thought it was about something else. Okay.
No, it could have been.
I think
but
I
no.
still remember this.
It was so
too.
good. I loved that one.
I was like, oh my gosh, iconic.
So YouTube, I have a new YouTube channel because I knew based off of a class Sarah Maslowski had done, she was like, you have to have one thing. Like that YouTube channel has to categorize you. And I knew that my Rachel Ferrell my Rachel Ferrell YouTube channel had no idea what the heck I was going to talk about on any given day. So I started a new YouTube channel, moving to Tullahoma, and I posted once per week a topic that I thought a homeschool mom who was moving their family to Tullahoma would want to know. And I have 41 videos. A lot of those are shorts, like based off of the long form videos. I got 5 leads from that sucker. I got a guy that I'm talking to about doing moving from another state. I got another one that has a listing out in Shelbyville that I need to take care of. I've got homeschool moms in California that are looking to move here that came from that. I have 11 subscribers.
Wow. That conversion ratio.
Oh, it's incredible.
Crazy.
Like slap that up on a chart.
I have 11
Seriously.
subscribers.
So
and
I want
5
more
leads.
of that. I don't necessarily want more subscribers. That'd be great. I want more leads.
Yeah.
So if this thing
Isn't
can
that
keep
what we all
getting me
want,
more
though?
leads,
I'm thinking about moving to
I'll
Tullahoma.
take it.
Do you know a realtor?
I know that you will love using me and not yourself as a realtor.
Okay. That's all the time we have, Rachel. Tell us. So you mentioned YouTube. We know you're on Instagram. Tell us all the different platforms where we can find you, the handles.
Yes. Most cases, it's at the Rachel Ferrell, TheRachelFerrell. For like a lot of the more general real estate specifically stuff. And then Happy Go Social at Happy Go Social for my marketing company and marketing. I give away a lot of stuff for free, like a ton of stuff for free with no expectation of
We love that.
payment in return. Like I just really like talking about social media with people. So
Yeah.
you can
I love
find me
it.
there if you want to have like a 15-minute call, 30-minute call about what your messaging looks like, trying to like narrow in on what you want to talk about. I have a Calendly link over there too, so you can do that as well.
Perfect. We'll include all of that on here too. All right. One final piece of advice for someone who has been putting off marketing and is just finally ready to take it seriously.
I hate to beat a dead horse, but you know, clarity is key.
Yeah.
I would just get really clear on your messaging. Take a look at the last 10 listings or the last 10 deals that you've done. And like find
I don't want to
commonalities.
alienate anybody.
What?
But I don't want to alienate anybody. I
you
don't
don't
leave
have to
anybody
alienate.
out.
You don't. You won't alienate. It feels like you're going to. But if you create these client problem pillars instead of, you know, like these big, vague, whatever, you're going to be able to dig in and give it time. You know, share one client problem for a month and then share a different client problem the next month. Now, not only are you talking to first-time home buyers, but you're also talking to move-up buyers. And you can diversify that way, but you just really need to pick one thing. Find who it is that you're actually serving. My ideal client has a $2.5 million listing in the middle of Franklin so that I can sell one house and, you know, do the lift of like 5 houses that I have to sell out in Coffee County. But that's not realistic. That's not somebody that I'm actually going
Yeah. It's like,
to
oh,
bring
that's
in.
great. But like,
Right.
yeah.
What good is that going to do?
If they find me or I find them, that's cool. But I know who my people are.
Absolutely. And if I look at the last 5 to 10 deals that I've done, most of them have been single income women who are looking to buy their first home. So I need to speak to those women online. Once I can figure out who that client is, just one, you can diversify later, but just the one client, then get really good at talking to that client. Practice in the car. Just talk to yourself in the car. Cancel your Spotify. Don't listen to music. Talk to yourself. Talk to the client. Talk through all the things that they might possibly need. Recap conversations that you had with those clients so that you can remember Shannon had this problem and this is how I helped guide her to this solution. And then once you get really clear on that, everything else is just a template. Every other, post that you see on social media, you'll just look at it through the lens of a, like a template. I can plug and play my idea to this format really easily.
I love it. Rachel, thank you so much for being here.
I'm happy to be
here.
here.
Such a pleasure.
It was fun.
So fun.
Well, hey, everybody, that is the Get More podcast. And we have signing off here is Chris Hill and
Kelsey Jones. We'll see you next time.
And we'll talk to you soon.